appears that former President Donald Trump has nothing to say, at least when it comes to a deposition involving a civil investigation into his business practices. Now, it's been reported that Trump had invoked his Fifth Amendment rights and declined to answer questions from the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, who has been running a 3-year civil investigation into whether Trump, the organization, had misled lenders, insurers, and tax authorities by providing them with misleading financial statements. Now, you may remember earlier this year, James' office said that it had found significant evidence indicating that the Trump organization had used false or misleading asset valuations in its financial statements to obtain loans, insurance, and tax benefits. So basically, he's alleged, his organization is alleged to have inflated his assets in order to get access to higher loans, to more loans, okay? And then deflating his assets, saying, oh, they're not worth that much when it comes to paying his taxes. So that's, tax fraud, essentially. Now, if found guilty, of course, he would face some financial penalties. This is not criminal. Very important. So now Trump, supposed to testify in deposition, decides to invoke the Fifth. That's certainly his right, joining Eric Trump and former CFO Alan Weisselberg. So now this also comes after the family had failed to block subpoenas for depositions from him and his children. So far, again, it's Donald Trump, Eric Trump, and Alan Weisselberg that have not answered any questions. Now, the others, however, did answer some questions. In fact, Ivanka Trump had a deposition last week, and Trump Jr. had a deposition back in late July. They did not invoke the Fifth. So we don't know exactly what they talked about or what kind of information they had volunteered forward. Okay, so now, interestingly enough, there's an old video that has resurfaced from 2016 about pleading the Fifth. Now, as I said before, I don't think there's anything wrong with pleading the Fifth. It is absolutely your right, and it's not even an admission of guilt. But 2016 Trump, well, he thought differently.
Her staffers taking the Fifth Amendment, how about that? And her ringleaders getting immunity. Now, she has people taking the Fifth Amendment. 4 people plus the guy who illegally did the server. He put in the illegal server. So there are 5 people taking the Fifth Amendment, like you see on the mob, right? You see the mob takes the Fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Oh man, if you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? Very curious. Very curious. So now look, his lawyers had argued, some of them, by the way, there are 2 different camps of lawyers apparently that were advising Donald Trump on what to testify, what to do for his deposition earlier today. One side said, okay, you should be open and answer questions. In fact, you were already done so under oath about your finances before, so what's the issue today? And the other side said, no, you should not answer any questions. You should invoke the Fifth, and you should absolutely stonewall Letitia James. That'll show her. Well, it looks like he listened to the latter of the 2. Now, politically, of course, this is going to be absolutely nothing when it comes to his cult members. But funny enough, it actually does cap off a pretty bad week for Trump. Not only did Mar-a-Lago get raided by the FBI in relation to Presidential Records Act, but on Tuesday, a federal appeals court also denied Trump his effort to block a House committee from obtaining his tax returns. I'm not entirely sure if that committee could then also share those tax returns with Letitia James, because I think that would be relevant for that conversation. So I'm not sure if it's possible. Now, what's interesting here is the ramifications of him invoking the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth, or pleading the Fifth. If Trump is sued by James and the case goes to trial, the jury could use that plea to draw an adverse inference against him for not answering questions. Remember, this is a civil trial, not a criminal trial. Now, the result of that inference could be a higher judgment against him if he is found liable. Now, that's bad, right? Oh, yeah, of course, of course. If he is found liable, he could absolutely pay more out of pocket. That would suck for him. But the calculation was made that if he does answer questions, it could open the door to potential civil and criminal liability. And I think that's something that he definitely wants to avoid. So it looks like Trump chose to risk higher judgment against him versus the possibility of potential criminal charges. So I think that it actually might be a smart way to go. So I don't know. We will see what happens as this case continues to go forward. Apparently, their investigation is starting to wind down, starting to wrap up, and we might see some further action soon.